Secrets Revealed, a radio drama about child sexual abuse. It contains subject matter that may be triggering for survivors. Discretion is advised.
We return to little Beto's house. It's a changed house. I sit around the corners and right beside this boy. I am trying, but it's especially hard to speak this crime at times.
Oh, Jesus. Winston is here. What is he doing here, that crazy man? You can't tell him, you know. I locked the door. No, that would just make him madder.
Millie, I come to see my son. Millie.
Calm down before I open the door. I don't want your nonsense in here.
Just open up, okay? I don't have anything with you. I just want to see my son. I'm mad as hell you didn't let me see him last week.
Come in. He's in his room.
What the hell is wrong with him?
He's quiet, that's all.
Nah. Come here, son.
Hi, Papa.
What is going on with you? Why you so quiet? You don't want to see your father? Go, let me talk to my son by myself. Beto, please tell me what's wrong.
I can't.
What are you talking about? What happened, Beto? Now, tell Daddy. I will believe anything you tell me.
Somebody touched me on my thing.
I know just who did this to you and he dead. He dead.
Where are you taking Beto? Don't take Beto.
Milagros, I's the father and I'm gonna kill that man.
He tell you? He didn't tell me anything.
I's the father, what you mean?
I'll keep him in the house, I promise. Don't take my baby. Don't take my baby.
Okay, but you're gonna see a lot more of me. And you better open the door right away when I come over. Milagros, I'm gonna kill him.
Oh God, Winston, no!
Oh God, yes.
Violence will solve nothing. Surely anger is understandable. I'm angry too for this grieving father, but this is not the way. Right now, he's thinking he'd rather be in jail, but when he thinks again, he'll realize he'd rather be free to help his son heal and get through life. The doctor has already reported to the police. The police have already taken a report. Beto needs the whole community and his family to recover.
Thank you for listening to Silence Speaks, Secrets Revealed. If you or someone you know has been sexually abused, please dial 911 in an emergency or call the Women's Coalition at 340-773-9272 to find out how you can end child sexual.
All right, welcome to the after show. Let's talk about it. A live call-in talk show to continue discussing the weekly episodes of Silence Speaks, Secrets Revealed, a radio drama about child sexual abuse, presented by the Women's Coalition of St. Croix. These stories are fiction based on fact. I'm your host, and today we are having a community involvement day because everybody's out voting. And we have two gift bag prizes for you if you can answer the questions based on what's been happening in the previous episodes. So first of all, I hope everybody went out to vote. Because, you know, we need to do our civic duty and get that over and done with. Also, we need some help in fixing the problem. So, you know, make sure the right people are in. We're not telling you who to vote for, though. We just want to make sure that whatever happens, we know that the work that we do, the work that other people are doing for the community, especially for social services, for victim rights, for victim advocacy, for that kind of stuff, that needs to be on the table regardless of who's governor. So, the phone number, 773-3636. Today it's important that you remember that, 773-FM, because it's a call-in show, and we wanted the community involvement because we are nearly at our halfway point. And next week, we have some of the cast members that are going to be in here, and so we want to make sure that everybody is in it. But today, because we are nearly at that halfway point, we wanted to do some giveaways, just to see how well you've been listening and to see how you've been going with the program, how the program's been going. We've been getting a lot of good feedback about it. As a matter of fact, we've been getting a lot more feedback than we thought. The crew's here with me, so Levon's here, Debbie's here, Carrie's here. And we got Troy today, so we're grateful that Troy's with us. Debbie's coming to say hi real quick.
Afternoon, everybody.
And so we just want to say, for those of you that have been with us for these 12 episodes, thank you so much. Even when we thought nothing was happening, the numbers of the views on the lives have been going up, on the SoundCloud's been going up. People have been tagging other people have been sharing it. So we know that the words are getting out. We have a lot of males and females that have been calling in and that have been sending messages to say that, you know, a lot of this happened to me when I was smaller and I didn't really realize how it was affecting my life. But now that I'm seeing, you know, some of the things that we've been talking about, especially with how it affects you all through your life, how it's been going. And so we want to say thank you, and this is the reason why we did it. The whole purpose for us doing it is so that you would know that even if it happened a long time ago, you weren't alone then either. You're not alone now. You can call us at the Women's Coalition if you need to talk, if you need someone to listen, if you just want to say, this happened to me, thank you for validating me. Thank you for letting me know that I wasn't wrong, it wasn't my fault, and that somebody does believe me. And we will believe you. We do believe you. Even if nobody did at that time. And like we keep saying, if you told somebody and they didn't do anything, tell somebody else. Tell until you know. We've had people from a number of different agencies in here. And so we just want to talk about this episode a little bit. And one of the things about this episode that is big, and then I'm going to get the questions from Debbie in a minute, is that the father got really, really angry.
Yes, he did.
And it's understandable.
Of course it is.
It's very understandable. I mean, when somebody comes and tells you that your child's been molested, you know, it doesn't go across well.
No, it doesn't.
His first reaction was to, you know, try to kill somebody though, but that's not the answer either. And so, you know, one of the reasons why children are afraid is just because of that, because they're afraid of what the reaction is going to be from both their parents. What's going to happen? Am I going to lose the person that I care about? Am I going to get them in trouble? So they start taking on the pain and they start holding on to it.
And it's not children's stuff. The children shouldn't have to carry that pain.
They shouldn't. But a lot of times they become the protectors because they feel, especially when the grooming process takes place, they feel that that's all that they can do. And unfortunately, that happens way too many times. You know, and we don't want them to feel that they have to carry that burden because it really shouldn't be their job. So while Debbie's looking for that, I wanted to, you know, talk a little bit about the fact that anger, though it's because the parents are hurt, we really, really need you to be supportive of your child, and it's hard to put your emotions on the back burner.
Yes, it is.
It's hard to put your emotions on the back burner for two reasons. One, if anybody hurts somebody that you love, your first response is to react and to get on. But, you know, it doesn't help the child in the situation. And if you get locked up because you've killed somebody, then you're not there to protect the child either, which is...
And that's part of the reason why they're angry, because they missed an opportunity to protect their child.
Right. And protecting our children is what we should be doing.
Right.
So that's why, you know, we have to believe them, believe them, believe them, believe them. So I'm going to throw out a question. 773-3636. How old is Beto? We've said this in 3 episodes so far. So if you can tell me how old is Beto, we have a little gift bag. Well, we have 2 gift bags actually. So if you can call in and tell me how old is Beto, then we can get you one of those prizes. Troy's going to help us with the phones because we don't know how to do that. So if you can call in and tell us how old is Beto, just let us know, because we've said it before. And many times. So, you know that Beto is a boy. And so, in having a discussion in here, how often do we hear about boys being reported?
Well, we hear it a lot. And I think the general public doesn't really understand how much boys get assaulted. They just generally think of females getting assaulted. But we see a lot of boys being assaulted.
Yeah.
Young boys being assaulted.
Yeah, and in both ways. I know last week we were talking about the ways that if you're under 13, you can't consent. So you can't be 13 and have an 21-year-old girlfriend. You can't have an 18-year-old girlfriend because that's not consensual sex according to law. You can't consent at all if you're that age, and it's something that we really need to look into. And maybe one of the things that, you know, we can talk about today is the way that we look at what sexual assault is. You know, the touching, the pictures, you know, how we try to play it off as, oh, that's just something that happened, or that was a mistake. You know, if it's a boy, well, he's a boy. If an older person wants to have sex with him, then that's okay, because it's not okay.
That's not okay.
It's not okay at all. And it affects them. It affects them in ways that we can't really tell until they get older and they start acting out. Even in terms of their hostility or their anger. And if it's a male person that's touched them and it makes them feel uncomfortable, and for a female, if it's a female person that touched them and it makes them feel uncomfortable, it doesn't really make a difference. Anybody that touches a child that makes them feel uncomfortable, especially if they don't have anybody to talk to, and their body responds, and so they start to feel guilty, and they run into having that problem where they really have to deal with a lot of what's going on in their head, and they don't have the words to explain it.
Right. Right. Little people, their bodies don't have the capacity to deal with sexual assault, right? With that kind of behavior, and they don't have the words for it either.
Right.
They don't have the language for how they're being victimized.
And that's usually where the big problem comes in, is because they don't have the words. But the other things, like we've had a number of people that have been in here, because we've had Dr. Parisia in here, we've had Dr. Hamilton in here, we've had the people from intake in here, we've had the people from the administrative services for human services that's been in here. We've had Dr. Ricketts in here talking about the physical
Dr.
side.
Brown.
We've had Dr. Brown in here. We've had a lot of people talking about all the effects that it can have on the child and the different ways that it can affect them. And all those ways usually are held secret by the child because they don't have the words, they don't have the language to be able to express it. And they're afraid that nobody will believe them.
But if a child does reach out, a very young child does try to reach out to you and try to explain something that is unexplainable, listen and believe them and be calm, because anger is not going to solve anything, it's only going to frighten the child, and let them explain to you what happened to them.
In the words that they have.
In the words that they have.
Or in the way that they can, because a lot of times we don't really have the words.
Right.
As adults. So you could imagine a 4-year-old trying to explain
Right.
something when we have adults that have been put in the same situation that don't have the words to explain
That's
it.
right.
And it becomes very difficult. Got the questions, Debbie? Remember, the first question was, how old is Beto? 773-3636. And I know everybody's probably out campaigning because you got one more hour in order to do that. But give us a call. We have 2 gift bags. So if you give us a call, 773-3636. Thank you. Hi. Caller.
He's 4 years old.
No, sorry. He's a little bit older than that. But thank you. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you for listening. All right. So how old is Beto? Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay.
Hi. How are you? Welcome to Silent Speaks. Can you tell us how old Beto is?
He's 11 years old.
No, you're a little bit older than he is, but thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much. All right, so how old is Beto? Beto's important. Beto's one of the characters in this series that touches everybody's heart. Hi, welcome to Silent Speaks. Can you tell me how old Beto is?
Yes, is he 9 years old?
Say that again, sorry?
9.
No, he's a little bit younger than that. Thanks for calling in, though.
You're giving a lot of hints.
I'm trying. Because it's not about the lose, it's about the win, it's about
That's
the
right.
attention. Hi, welcome to Silent Speaks. Can I help you?
Baker is 8.
You're a little bit older than that. You're getting close. It's real hot. Thank you so much. We're nearly there. So yeah, we're talking about, the Beto's father's reaction, actually. Hi, Silent Speaks. Can you tell me how old Beto is? Ooh, your radio's loud.
Oh, sorry. Hello?
Hello?
I can't hear you now. Hello?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes. Is he 7?
Yes!
Yay.
Awesome!
We
have a winner. Beto is 7 years old. Thank you so much.
What's your name?
So what's your name?
My name is Chantel.
Hi, Chantel. Thank you so
Hi.
much for listening. And
No
thank you.
problem.
And so we can get your information, or actually you can give us a call, 773-9272. And
9272?
yeah, 773-9272, and then we will get the bag to you. You can pick it up at the office. We appreciate you listening
Thanks,
in.
Chantel.
Thank you so much,
And I'll
Chantel.
continue to listen. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
We got a winner.
We do have a winner. Thank you so much for listening in. Yes, Beto is 7. Beto is at that very, 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 very tender age where he's just getting in his language. He's just getting in a lot of his developmental, and now all of a sudden he's bombarded with this. You know, and if you remember from the last, let me make sure it wasn't one of the questions that we had here. Okay, so if we remember from earlier episodes, one of the reasons why he was afraid to tell was because he was told, if you tell, I will kill your parents.
And he also wasn't supposed to leave the yard. He was supposed to stay in the house, right? His mom, he promised his mother that he would stay in the house with his grandmother, Milagros.
Yes.
And so he broke a bunch of rules, and then this terrible thing happened.
Right. And so now he's going through the feeling guilty, and it's my fault, but it's not his fault. It's not his fault at all. It wasn't his fault. If you remember in the other episodes, it wasn't his fault that he started getting the pictures. It wasn't his fault that he was groomed into using the fact that he loved the Michael Jackson, the chicken. He loved Michael Jackson, and because he was bad, you know, and Michael Jackson being the lure to get him into it, the pictures to kind of go into the grooming stage that he was taken into, so that it got to where it got. And we didn't really hear what happened.
And then also the teenager who was grooming him was telling him how the relationship with their families, right? So to get his trust.
Right. Because, I mean, your mother knows my mother. They go back a long way.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they tell you, it's not going to believe anyway. And all these things are things that are used to help keep children silent, or to make them want to be silent more when these things are happening to them. So we had question number 1.
Hey, Shalene.
Yeah.
This is Carolyn. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I was wondering if maybe you can touch on a little bit, since you are a crisis counselor at our office and you work directly with a lot of these children and families that come in for assistance, maybe you can talk, we don't have human services here today, but maybe you can talk to everybody a little bit about what does intervention looks like. So we hear from Silence that the police have already been called, a report has been made by the doctor, and human services, if the police have been called, then human services is investigating.
Right.
And it's probably been turned over to intervention. And so in your experience as a crisis counselor, and maybe we'll have them on later.
Right. They were supposed to be here today,
but
we didn't know it was going to be a holiday, so we have to forgive them for that. Yeah.
But maybe you could talk to the audience. I'm sure they're curious what's going on the criminal justice side and on the human services side right now for Beto and his family.
But before you do that, ask the second question.
True, because we're running out of time. Okay, so what's the name of the pageant queen character? I like that question. What is the name of the pageant queen character? So that's one of the characters that are in the story, and we've had 3 of her episodes already. So what is the name of the pageant queen character? She was in episodes, I won't tell you that, or I probably, well, she was in episode 10, so she was 2 episodes before.
That's about to get juicy too.
Yeah. That's going to take on a whole new thing. So the one that she's running for queen, and so a lot of her story has been based on the fact that she's been running for queen, and so this is what's happening. So to answer Carrie's question, so at this point in time, intervention's going to start the investigation because it's gone from intake. They've already had all of these things that have happened. The investigation is done. They've been found that there's probable cause. They're going to start looking for the person if the person hasn't already been arrested, because at that point it goes into the criminal justice system, where they now have to go and they will. Okay, and so.
Will they interview the child? Will they interview parents? What will happen?
They will, once the allegations are gone through, right, for the person to be arrested. Intervention, because intake will do a lot of that investigating in terms of asking the questions and all the rest of it. The AG's office also will start to do some investigating. And, you know, they would have them see a psychologist or someone who can start interviewing them. Intervention comes in, and intervention's role, and they'll be here, and if anybody from intervention's listening, you can call in as well. But what they're going to do is start to try to restructure the safety for the child. So if they have to be taken out of the home, then they will find a place for them to go. They will do follow-up to set up how they're going to be taken care of, what's going to happen. They'll do that case management part in terms of, okay, so they can't stay in this home, or if they have to remove the person, then this is what the family circle is going to look like. These are the services that they'll get, the counseling that will take place, the follow-up. If there are any court cases that they have to do, they'll be there to be with them while they're going through this process. But, you know, it's to try to do the rebuilding of the family, because all of this is broken down.
So they'll make the referrals to counseling or provide counseling to the child and to the family.
To the family as well.
And try to help them heal through the healing process.
Through the healing process, because now there's going to take a lot of rebuilding. Because, like we were talking about earlier, the parents are also going to be angry.
Right.
Once the parents believe them. If they don't believe them, that's another story. But if the parents believe them, then the parents are going to be angry. They're going to be hurt. They're going to feel that they've let their child down. I didn't protect my child. I failed as a parent. So all of those things are going to have to happen. So the parents and the children and other family members that are in the home, even the grandmother in Beto's case, she's going to need some help as well. Because now she feels that she's failed. And they're all taking on this guilt. That they let this happen and it was on their watch. How could I have let that happen? And so that's the purpose for that. All right, so do we have a... Hi, Silent Speaks, can I help? Do you have a pageant name? Pageant queen name? I think I lost you.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes?
So you were saying, what's the pageant's name for the teenager that was, where she was like getting fitted?
Yes.
And her mom was outside. Oh my gosh, I had it in my mind and I got distracted. I want to say it was like not Miss St. Croix.
No.
Right?
What is the character's name? Not the pageant that she was in.
Oh, well then I heard the wrong question, but it's not Sarah.
No, actually Sarah is one of the characters, but not that one.
Oh, okay, and this is Chantel who called and answered the first question.
I know I recognize your voice.
Good, because I tried to call the number, and maybe I have taken down a wrong digit, but I didn't get through. Can you give me that number again, please?
Chantel, yeah, the number is 773-9272.
Okay, well, I called that number, and the answering service said I had the wrong number.
Okay. Call tomorrow in the morning.
8:30 and 5. And we'll
Say that again?
If you could call tomorrow morning between 8:30 and 5, you can come to our office, main office crisis center, and pick up your prize.
Where is it? Is it in Science Farm?
No, it's in Christiansted, 45 Fisher Street, just south of town.
Okay. And what's the name of the building? What color building am I looking for?
It's the Women's Coalition of St. Croix.
Women's Coalition. Okay, I know exactly where it is.
And it's gray, blue-gray with purple writing. It's just right past those two churches.
Okay, I'll come by tomorrow.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chantel.
And thank you for listening. The mere fact that she has one of the other characters' names means that you've been following. I thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I want to just quickly, I know we're getting ready, we're running out of time, but in this story too, Beto does not reveal who his abuser is to his family or to anyone for that matter. And so is that an issue for Human Services? I mean, obviously they want the person to reveal who their abuser is, but what happens in that case?
In that case, Human Services, the police, absolutely everybody, they're unable. We can't have anybody picked up if they don't tell us who it is. It doesn't mean that the family doesn't get help.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that we don't do
Right.
counseling. It doesn't mean that they don't do intervention. It doesn't mean that the report is not taken. It just means that in terms of somebody being arrested because of it, that doesn't happen because they don't know who it is.
Right, but
And
they
sometimes
still
it's
provide
safe.
services to the family and to the young person.
Yes, they will still provide services. And that happens even if it's an adult that's been sexually assaulted. Because sometimes there is that fear factor. If somebody tells me they're going to kill me, I'm going to be afraid. It doesn't matter if the police are involved. I'm not sure because nobody was there to protect me when it happened. So I still have that fear factor. And sometimes it feels safer to me to not tell who the person is. I think I can handle it. Somebody knows, so I'm getting help in other ways. And, along the way, I can get stronger, maybe when I'm older. Because one of the things that little people have a problem with, meaning children, is that I'm not big enough. You know, so I really can't fight back. And if they do something to somebody else, I can't help. So I'm putting somebody in danger. And so all the other services will still be provided even if they don't tell.
Okay.
The goal is to get them to tell so that they don't do it to somebody else. And a lot of times that's the whole purpose of having the person who's done the raping or done who is the pedophile or who's done the sexual assault to say, because we don't want them to do it to somebody else.
Sure.
Because it becomes a behavior pattern. If I get away with it with somebody, I'll do it with somebody else.
But I want to be clear that we don't say that you have to reveal to us who your abuser is in order to get services. People can still come forward and get the help that they need and try to heal, even if they don't want to name who their abuser is.
Yes, they can. And that's for anything. The confidentiality in our office, if you don't want it to... People have called our office. I've been talking for them for months, and I have no clue what their name is. I know them by voice, which is, you know, why I'm very familiar with voices now. But they're not comfortable because it's painful and it's embarrassing. Because if I feel that it was my fault, it's hard. And so you don't even have to give us your name. We'll still walk you through the process. We'll still offer the counseling. We'll still offer the resources. And if we have to pass it on to, if we have to pass on information for you to go to another agency, or if we have to talk to human services, or if we have to talk to legal services, or if we have to talk to the AG's office, we provide all of those information. But you don't necessarily have to tell us, because your healing is what's the most important.
Actually,
no problem.
So we have like 4 minutes left.
Yes. So if you can tell us the name of the pageant queen character. So I'll give you a hint. She's running for queen, and she's gotten fitted, and she's uncomfortable. Silent Speaks, can I help?
Yes. Good night, Silent Speak. The whole cast, you guys are doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just thank you guys, man. Keep up the good work. For the first time you guys here, the first time when you speak on the show, I called and I was like, man, y'all doing a great thing. So just keep it up, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
No problem. Y'all
Thank you. We're glad to have support. Thank you. All right.
I think it's especially fantastic that he called. Today is International Men's Day. And so we thank you very much for your support and for calling in frequently. Thank you again.
So if you didn't know, and that's something that I was supposed to say when we started, today is International Men's Day. I'm going to let Debbie explain it because...
No.
Well, you know what? I do have to say, since we started this...
Silent Speaks. Hi.
Yeah, is that a new day? I never knew that day existed.
No, it's not. It's not really new. It's been around for a while. Yes, it has. I know that it does, especially coming from the Women's Coalition. But you don't understand how much we appreciate, especially men that are in healthy relationships, that are role models, that do the work with us. Because there are a lot of men that do the work with us. We don't eliminate them. We don't negate them. We don't push them aside. We like the support. We really appreciate it. We need to have the balance, because if we can have the balance, then we can fix our community. We live together. We would really like to have more support. So thank you so much. And yes, it is International Men's Day.
Well, I was going to say...
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys the same way, because like, I'm trying to get my peers, especially my brothers, to understand that we need to be more present in our household. We need to be more present in our children's lives. We need to be more present in society as men.
Yes.
We don't play our role, and because we're not playing our role, there's a lack of nurturing from the men in our community. And I'm just trying to play my part as an individual here in Paradise to have my input where it is helpful and needed. And you guys are doing an excellent job, so that's why I'm always tuning on today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We need to meet you. You're awesome. Awesome.
If I'm not busy, I'll got conversation if you guys don't mind.
Not at all.
So sure thing, I'm not gonna be Tuesday then.
All right, thank you.
Tuesday, not Thursday,
Tuesday. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Tuesday.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
that's just about International Men's Day.
Yeah, so International Men's Day goes back as far as 1960, actually. So it really has been around for a very, very long time. And so if you check our communications coordinator, Debbie, the one that, you know, gave the question, the wonderful question. We're still looking for the name of the pageant queen character, though. She posts on our pages a lot of the days that have gone through. So when we have Girls' Day, when we have all International Human Trafficking, all of that, all of those